Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our event tonight. Hope you're all excited and thank you so much for joining us. We're gonna wait a couple minutes so that everybody can take their seats. And, I just wanna say good job on being here. This whole college process, admissions process is tremendous to say the least. There's so many different options, resources, and I commend you for, coming and joining us so that you can learn more about different opportunities and really seek advice from the experts because this is such a huge process that no one single high schooler is going to be able to fully understand everything about it. And that's why we have academic experts. And so, great job on arriving here tonight. And we hope that we can give you the best advice that we can. I know many of you are very concerned right now about admissions with COVID-19 in the air and just so many inconsistencies from the universities, the changes in policies, and the whole change in the landscape of opportunity, right, Francis?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, so I also wanted to say, for everybody here tonight, we have a special offer for you, and I'll remind you again later, but up until 7:15 p.m. tonight, every high school student here is invited to take a free mock test and receive feedback from one of our academic counselors. And this feedback will include strategies for you to, increase your score based on the exact diagnostic that you take. And we have exams from AP Euro to microeconomics, macroeconomics, Lang, AP US History, SAT, SSAT, ACT, everything almost. And so if you go ahead and click the link inside of the chat box, my colleague will enter that soon, then you can go ahead and sign up. This offer is going to end at 7:15 p.m. tonight. So make sure you go check that out and sign up. All right. This is only for you guys that are here tonight. All right. We have 41. So let's start. So welcome everybody to our weighing colleges and majors event tonight. Our lead counselor is here tonight. Her name is Frances, and she has helped well over like 100 students at the very least with her three-stop process to arrive at their dream schools. Frances herself earned her master's in education at the University of Pennsylvania and also received Penn's Merit Scholarship for exceptional academics. Frances also serves as an alumni interviewer for the University of Pennsylvania, and now she has more than 10 years of experience in college and career counseling, as well as teaching English. Each year, her guidance has helped more students discover their academic interests and achieve admissions to their top universities like Harvard, MIT, UPenn, UC Berkeley, Stanford, and many more. With Frances's deep understanding of college planning and the application process, we hope to leave you all tonight with a stronger understanding of how to strengthen your admissions, decide on your major or college choices, and make the most effective decisions moving forward in your academic journey. Welcome, Frances.
Thank you, Ryan, so much for introducing me, and I'm more than happy to, introduce everyone, present to the topic of weighing colleges and majors. Hopefully, my presentation can give you guys more insights into this frequently discussed topic tonight. All right. So speaking of college majors, there's a few things that people are talking about. First thing, whenever we talk about, college majors, a lot of students will really, go back to their high school academic performance. For example, a very common argument is that I'm good at math in high school, so I will major in math in college. And
Mm-hmm.
another connotation of speaking of college majors is that whenever people talk about, college majors, they are more of, thinking ahead, thinking about their jobs and then their career prospects. So in that line, a lot of people will say, "Hey, my dad is a dentist, so I would like to be a dentist." And whenever we look at the different departments in college, a lot of people will also say like, "Hey, you know what? NYU Stern is my top choice, so I just want to study business in there." So today's discussion, I hope to give you guys, more understanding about the deep insights into the college majors, the different departments in universities, and then all of the common claims I just mentioned. There are certain pitfalls actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of misinformation out there and these pitfalls and very common mentalities, right? It's
Mhm.
like I used to think I would want to go to psychology because I loved AP Psych. Right?
Yeah, that's a very good, example actually. So I did have like a lot of students telling me like, "Hey, I'm interested in psychology. I want to major in that." But actually, for a high school curriculum, for the majority of the school districts in the United States, actually, psychology is something that high schoolers can only take to their high school senior year. So actually, what I experienced was many of my students who claim that they really have a passion for psychology before taking it, after they pick, psychology to take in senior year, they just feel like, hey, this is not my thing. I just have, so much of experience in, such, worst case scenarios, I would say. So, which is also why I really want to, give people like more information about the pitfalls to really watch out for. So for the common claims, I just showed everybody. If you really think ahead, if you think deep about it, there are so many underlying like wrong assumptions about things. For example, people will say like, I'm good at math in high school, so I'll just major in math in college. But I think about it, college level math is so much more advanced than high school, right? So it's probably not accurate, to predict your performance in college level math simply based on your high school performance, right? And then also, if you just think from the perspective of what kind of subjects you do well, like in high school, right? And then compare those with the major offerings in universities, right? There are just so many more majors offered in college that are not offered in high school. So your perspective will be very limited.
Hmm. Absolutely. So, well, before we get into your process of getting students into college, I do want to ask our two raffle winners, Yan and Eric Adonis. If you're here, please send us a message to the panelists. We want to know your questions. And if you're not here, then two lucky winners are going to be able to have an 8-minute question for Francis. All right. So, Francis, can you please tell us how do you end up helping students with overcoming these pitfalls? Like, there's just so much information, so little time. How do you do it?
For sure, for sure. Actually, the first stop I usually, recommend my students to do is that, we would look at colleges of my students' choice together. And then we would analyze all the departments in the intended school and then also all the major offerings in that particular school. For example, let's take UCLA as an example, University of California, Los Angeles. Altogether, they have 7 different departments, including College of Letters and Science, Schools of Arts and Architecture, School of Engineering, School of Music, School of Public Affairs, School of Nursing, School of Theater, Film, and TV. So basically, among these 7 departments, 2 departments are pretty common. I would say every single 4-year national universities will have them. One is College of Letters and Science, which really offer anything, everything, that belong to humanities disciplines, I would say, and then also all the science related majors. And then the other one is School of Engineering, which offers all kinds of engineering disciplines, including things like astronomy engineering, aerospace engineering, civil engineering, electronic engineering, electrical engineering, or even material engineering, everything included. So why is it important to identify the different departments and majors at each university? So first of all, each university and college, their department setting, their major setting can be really different. if you compare UCLA's with UC Berkeley's, you'll be caught, off guard, by the, different and unique majors set by each school. And then also for certain very hot, very popular majors, for example, computer science, right? So basically, I'm working with a lot of computer science, kids, and then they all want to get into the major related to computer science. But then when you choose a college major, right? Computer science is not just offered in one single department in certain universities.
Hmm.
For example, in UCLA, both College of Letters and Science and the School of Engineering, they both, offer CS related majors. And then the one that's under College of Letters is Letters and Science is called Linguistics and Computer Science. And then School of Engineering, they also offer two. One is computer science, the other one is computer engineering. So by looking at and then identifying the different departments for each university, especially the dream school, it's going to be very helpful for you to understand what is being offered, what you're going to study, not to even mention, the tons of information offered on the school website.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, not to mention, besides the four-year university, there's over 1,800 listed majors in total. So, there's just so much information to sift through. And it really differs for every single individual, right? Some of you are going to become doctors, some of you will become lawyers, and some of you might do something very unique, right? Yeah. So,
Exactly, exactly. So by looking at those major catalog, people are gonna be able to get more of a comprehensive view of all the offerings at universities, which they may or may not be able to find from their high school curriculum or from elsewhere.
hmm,
So this is the first stop.
absolutely.
And then the second stop, we would recommend our students to really find their niche, right? So first of all, we want to find their niche based on, facts and then things they have already accomplished or completed. For example, the high school transcript, you want to go there, take a look, review all the courses you have done well to determine your academic strengths. And then you also want to revisit your resume or your activity list to see, if there's any extracurricular where you have shown a lot of passion, a lot of commitment. And then from there, from your activity list, you can also analyze your skill sets. For example, for our students who have been consistently volunteering with one organization, like thousands and thousands of hours, right? That's probably a lot of, caring consideration, right? And then we also want to, go from there and then discover our students' personality strengths and weaknesses. For example, last year I had a student who was, really good at maths. But then the thing is that, pure maths was not something she was, really into. So we were kind of, debating, the best major for her. But
Mhm.
then from her personality strengths, and then also from her resume, we were able to see that she was, consistently helping a lot of her schoolmates, classmates, friends, family friends, everybody surrounding her with math. She was really patient. And then also, we have noticed that whenever we have any daily interaction with her, she seemed to really care about others. She pays a lot of attention to other people's questions and then very good with answering questions. So from there, we kind of tell that, hey, she's a material for math education. So eventually, we actually recommended her to choose math education as her college major. So all these small things, plus the solid facts from transcripts and then from the resume and activity list, all these different factors work together, to shape her dream and aspiration. I would say sometimes the student him or herself may not notice. Actually, their parents or the counselor will be the best person to say about the student's major.
Absolutely. It's just it's so real that you need to get a third perspective, especially from an expert, right? It's it's very difficult sometimes to see where your strengths and your weaknesses lie and where what opportunities are ahead of you when you're focused on the day to day. Somebody else can see things a lot more clearly and advise you in the right way, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly, exactly. And then another big factor, another big element that students, parents always consider is the future pay scale or career prospect that the major, or the jobs can lead to, right? Whenever we talk about some hot college majors, people will be like so attentive to like the future, salary, and then there are so many resources from outside that can help us in the decision process as well. So we really want to find the students like niche in there, and then the student, him or herself, also needs to have their own homework done, right? They need to do their own due diligence. They need to research like their own personal interests. They need to navigate their personal strengths, kind of. They also need to have like more thinking processes about themselves, because eventually it's the students who go their pathway, not the parents, not the counselors. So they have to always take the initiative in this process.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely students need to make their own individual efforts, but so how, like, when you've discovered a niche, how do you test that? Like, how do you know?
Mhm. As a counselor, we would recommend a lot of relevant classes. For example, for our chemistry interested students, we would recommend courses like related to chemistry or chemical engineering to the student, so that he or she can get more of an enrichment outside, and then also sort of test the hypothesis, right? And then in terms of actual curricular activities, we would recommend a lot of volunteering experiences, club experiences, summer programs, or job shadowing opportunities to our students, so that they can get a hand of what a major is about in their spare time. And then for students who do have do know like experts or people from his or her intended field, he or she is welcome to talk to the people, talk to the experts. So the interaction with the experts, or at least industry experts, is also going to be very important. And then we would also navigate the college university majors or programs by checking the program description, curriculum setting, information like that. Lastly, we do also use some scientific ways such as personality or career tests to help our students to fully understand themselves. Sometimes they do have potential that they are not even aware of. So those personality tests and career tests, serve the purpose of helping them understanding, themselves.
Yeah, uh, I'm sure a lot of students, they know that they need to find a job to shadow, perhaps, or find these prestigious research opportunities. But it's just like, where do I start? How do I know how to do this, right? Like, where do I go? And
Mm-hmm.
how do you help your students with that?
For sure.
Finding
Last
the most
Yeah,
prestigious, right?
actually, last year I was guiding this one student of mine. I got him, when he was 10th grade, so he didn't have much of notice or idea about what kind of major he want to pursue in college. So what we did was that we, review his transcript at first. So back then he was taking AP Computer Science Advanced in his high school, and then he was doing really well. So what we did was that we had recommended him to take some, CTY courses, from Johns Hopkins University. So it's sort of online enrichment class that cannot just give our students GPA, but then can also help them, testify their, interests.
Mhm.
So in his high school career, on and off, he was able to take, 7 CTY courses, over the course of summer. And then also after he confirmed his, computer science interest, we also recommended him a summer camp offered by Stanford to further, know more about, coding. In the past, he was able to learn a lot about, coding languages such as, C++. So we had also recommended him to learn other programming languages such as Java,
Mhm.
so that he could, know more about the field. And then lastly, we also referred him, to work with a university professor, to work on a research internship, which is about game design. So he,
Wow.
really touch upon, the territory of, game design. And then eventually he worked with, 4 or 5 of his friends back then, on designing a very small game. Even though, the game was really small, it's kind of, really simple. But then we both felt like, hey, this is a really huge progress for the student. So eventually, this student got admitted by UC Berkeley's computer science program. I think there's a reason for him to get in, with 3.7 and with a GPA. The reason is that his activity list and then his resume really show his passion for computer science and then really show his background, in that area. I think UC Berkeley was, much convinced and then just took it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like just introducing him to so many different opportunities and well, just nurturing that and then testing the hypothesis and really seeing it come to fruition. I think that's really incredible. I think a lot of students would love to have that kind of guidance. Right?
Sure. I think the biggest merit of education is that you don't really see overnight results. The thing
Yeah.
is that you sometimes just have to wait, like for things to grow, for students to mature, and then eventually by time of college application, you see like, hey, the student has really become, the person who he or she wants to be. So that's the best part about being a college counselor, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. So do you enjoy working with them from the very beginning first, like ninth grade, eighth grade?
For sure, for sure. It usually took me a while to enter each and every single of my students because everybody comes from like everywhere, like different high schools, different, geographic, locations.
Mhm.
They all have, different interests. Some of my students are from Bay Area, some are not, some are from Tennessee, some are from China. So everybody's background is just so different. But then I usually, make sure I spend enough amount of time to work with them, to understand them, so that we can develop a pathway, a developmental pathway that's best for each student.
Yeah, that's amazing. So this is the $1 million question, right? Which
Mhm.
matters more, major or school? Why don't you let us know in the comments, everyone, what you think? And
Great. Let's
Francis,
wait
you
for
can
5 seconds.
tell us what your take on it is. Anybody? Nobody? Joanna says major. Hmm. I think Joanna wants to be a animal science major, I think. So yeah, probably.
Great. My quick answer to this one is that it's gonna depend on major. I'm trying to provide a simplistic answer in here so that people can really get my point. As a
Mhm.
counselor, over my years of experience, so my feeling is that all the STEM related majors, the major really matters more. So here I have listed the top 10 ranked schools by both US News ranking and then also the pay scale ranking. So US News and World Report basically is the most reputable, university ranking out there that everybody knows what it is. Everybody knows like how schools are being evaluated, being ranked for this ranking. Basically, what US News considers for their ranking is the education quality, the alumni rating, and then research skills, and then also selectivity. And then they rank these universities to be the top 10 for a computer science major. I'm gonna read through really quick. Carnegie Mellon, MIT, Stanford, UC Berkeley, UIUC, Cornell, UW, standing for University of Washington, Georgia Tech, Princeton, Texas Austin. But for computer science major students, a lot of times people will ask like, "Hey, how much money will I earn when I become a fresh graduate from college, and how much money can I earn during my mid career?" So there is a ranking that provides such a kind of information, like best value computer science major rankings, which is pay scale. So if we compare pay scale ranking with the US News ranking, you're gonna find two schools. One is Georgetown University, the other one is UC San Diego. Both are not ranked nationally as top 10 or not even top 20, but then they show up in the top 10 pay scale ranking, meaning like Georgetown and UC San Diego, their graduates from computer science major, they are actually earning more than the big name schools on the left side. So my point here is that just like every other STEM related majors, computer science is also a major where the programming skills or the skills can really just be more easily evaluated and assessed when you are going for a job. Think about it, all the, big name high tech schools, high tech companies like Google or Facebook or LinkedIn, a very easy way for them to test students' skills, to test job applicants' skills is just to arrange a coding interview. So that's very easy. That's really straightforward. In that
Yeah.
scenario, they don't care, that much about the big name university names, right?
Yeah, it's the quantitative measurement that really matters. Like, can you outperform the other applicants or not? Right?
Hmm. And then comparatively speaking, let's look at psychology major and then compare the ranking from both US News and PayScale. You're gonna notice those two rankings are pretty much the same. And then the majority of the schools on these two lists are overlapping with each other. And then the majority of them are actually top 10 schools, including a lot of the Ivies. Why? Right? So if we talk about, humanities major, arts majors, right, such as psychology, your skills, your knowledge, gained from college, relatively speaking, those are very hard to measure for companies, for the big employers, which is why those big companies, big institute, when they hire people from these majors, from psychology major, they care more about, hey, which university did you graduate from? So an easy answer to the question, the $1 million question, like school matters more or major matters more, I think it's more dependent on the choice of the major.
Great answer. Yeah. I mean, every student is different, every college is different, and they're all changing, especially this year, right?
Mhm.
So, how does 70DU help our students?
For sure. We would introduce our students to a lot of enrichment classes, on-site or online. Now, given the current situation, it's probably gonna more of the online classes. We would always recommend a lot of extracurricular activities, opportunities to our students so that they can, test out their interest to see if they truly want to invest in the major that they think they might be interested in. And
Yeah.
we would refer our students to a lot of internship opportunities because we do partnership with a lot of university professors. And then scientifically we would guide our students to be tested using some personality and career tests, making sure that the student is aware of certain territories that he or she is not aware of. And then lastly, by the time we apply to college together, we would give our students a lot of recommendations, suggestions on the college list, and then also base those colleges on the major choices, of students' preferences. So these are the things we do to help our students, to guide our students.
Yeah, and I feel like this list is only just a piece. Like, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes, right? All the research, and just going through with each and every student case by case. Like there's only a limited number of seats because we really want to give 100% to each and every student, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you so much, Francis. And so now we're going to have our raffle winners. May Yam Feng and Eric Adonis please report. And if not, then we are going to count down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. All right, first person to raise their hand and second person to raise their hand right now. Go. iPhone and who's that? And 7, 8, 4. All right, go ahead, iPhone. I'm asking you to unmute. You have 5 seconds. All right. 4, 3. Okay, I'll give you a little bit more. Just all right. We can't continue this. Please unmute. iPhone. No. No. All right. Let's see. Claire, go ahead. Hi, Claire.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello.
So what is your question?
听得见我吗？ Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Uh-huh. So what should I do now?
So you can ask your question.
Okay, sorry, I'm not prepared for, because you have winner already, so I didn't prepare my question.
Yeah, this is a surprise raffle. Our winners didn't show up, but
Okay,
go ahead.
can I ask my daughter to come to
Yam
ask
is here.
questions? Sophia,
Sorry about that. But Yam is here too, so she just rose her hand. So we will take hers next. But yeah, go ahead. Claire, you can go ahead. Claire?
yes. Can I ask in Chinese?
Oh yeah.
I'll
We
just
can
translate it.
translate, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, my question is, so if I fill out the financial aid form when my daughter go to, apply for college, will her chance be reduced? Apply when she apply.
Okay, so your question is, will applying for financial aid hurt your daughter's chance, like when applying to colleges, right?
Yeah, private school, like private school.
So basically, when you apply for financial aid, you want to be really cautious because usually we want to prioritize the admissions chance. We want to maximize your daughter's admissions chance, right? So what we would recommend is that you need to figure out whether the school is need blind or not. If the school is need blind, that means applying for financial aid won't hurt her chance. If it's not, it's gonna decrease her chance.
So is that for regular decision or a regular or RD or early decision? Both apply, right?
Yes, you can apply for financial aid in both rounds, both in the early rounds and then also in the regular round. But then for the same school, you can only choose one round to apply. So it's like either early or regular.
Okay, so because my daughter want to be a doctor in the future, so do you suggest any activities for her in the high school? Like you just said, to maybe to work with some college professors. Do you have any suggestions? So what?
How old is she? Is she a ninth grader, 10th grader?
10th grade already.
Grader already. Okay. Got it. What kind of activities does she have right now?
And after this, we're gonna move on to Yams. Okay? Yeah.
Okay, she plays piano and she participate in piano competitions many times a year.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Good. All right. So as a 10th grader, and then she might be interested in being a doctor, I would say, first of all, make sure she does well in high school courses that are relevant to biology and chemistry. So for example, like if she wanna sign up for AP biology or AP chemistry later in high school, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
And then getting A's in those courses are great. And then in terms of extracurriculars, getting some exposure, to doctor's job is really important. I would say by the end of 10th grade, if you guys can get, a medical or a physician shadowing, experience, that's good. Certain universities do have it. And then also, having some sort of, biomedical research experience is also going to help, because a lot of times from the job shadowing experience, she's going to get more of a view about, what a, doctor's job really entails, whether she truly likes it. And then from the biomedical research, she's going to be, having more of an experience about, the most advanced, knowledge in that field. And then Stanford University specifically does offer a top and medical research program, which your daughter can apply.
For high school students?
Yes. And then also, if she's truly invested, she's truly interested to be a doctor in the future, BSMD program is also something you guys should check out. So basically, BSMD program is an accelerated program for your daughter to become, a doctor later. But then you have to make sure she likes it.
You need the
All right, thank you,
BSMD.
Claire. I'm so sorry, but we're gonna have to move on to our actual winner.
Okay, sure.
Because
Thank you.
also we're wondering if Eric Adonis is here. I see two Erics in the crowd, and if you're here, please raise your hand. And thank you so much, Claire. I hope you enjoyed that answer. If you'd like to talk more, just give us a call, and we can arrange something.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Yam, go ahead. And Eric, if you're here, please raise your hand.
Hello, this is Yan, calling from Santiago, and it's nice to have a chance to talk with everybody in this seminar. My daughter actually is 12th grade this year and is applied to the college right now. I have a kind of similar question with Claire. My daughter's actually, she said she want to pursue something for the doctor, but based on her current, GPA and also her personality, we are not really sure at this moment if she's ready for the pre-medical track. So she also think about to go to the nursing, major. But I want to ask the question is, if in case she go pursue a nursing major, how much possibility after she get nurse school, like maybe graduate, and is she still have a chance to go to medical school, or if another kind of career track and she can pursue. She said she maybe also go to the pharmacy, area. So at this moment, she just thinking she want to go to something related to the medicine or maybe doctor in the future, but she's not really sure. So what is the suggestion? I can, I want to hear some kind of opinion from you guys. Thank you.
Sure, no problem. So this year is really special, and good luck to your daughter's college application first. So basically, for medical school or pharmacy school, or let's say, to be a doctor or to be a pharmacist, you have to get a doctor's degree, right? To get a PhD degree, like, in those fields. And then, to get into a medical school, to do that, what a student needs is pretty much a decent college GPA, the MCAT, the MCAT score, which is, the exam for, medical school applicants. And also they need to make sure during the career of their college, they have taken, 8 required courses, required mandated by, medical school. So basically, I would say if your daughter is not sure, my recommendation is to choose, majors such as biology, chemistry, or biochemistry, because by studying those majors in college, she's still gonna have more of a wiggle room, more time, to think about what kind of major she wants to do like later in college, right? Because no matter it's, medicine, pharmacy, or nursing, it's a lot of commitment, it's a long time, and then it's a lot of, time and money, investment. And then by studying those majors in college, we'll also ensure that she can get, the majority of the mandatory courses required by medical school covered. So that's my recommendation for your daughter.
Great answer. Yeah.
I hope I answered your question, Yam.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming, Yam. I hope that it helped. And we are going to take a few questions from the audience, but we don't have much time. So go ahead and enter your questions. And we're going to start from our first ones that were entered. Let's see. So, how would we improve extracurriculars during this pandemic where everything is canceled? Great question. I'm sure everybody's wondering, right? Unless they've already landed a really extraordinary extracurricular.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's so much of frustration, happening this year. I mean, a lot of activities, competitions our students have, engaged in are being canceled. But still, there are so many options you guys can try. For example, online classes, offered by Coursera is always, good option because you can, take class in there. And all their course offerings, the majority of them are being provided by top universities. So online classes is my number one recommendation. And then second, probably some people are not aware of it yet, but then a lot of extracurriculars are moving online right now. For example, there are so many, remote volunteer opportunities that you can check online. You guys can use, third-party websites such as volunteer match or points of light to discover those opportunities. So volunteering online is really not a dream right now. You can choose to do that. And then thirdly, I think a lot of the summer programs, educational programs are being moved online as well. For example, we have been guiding some of our students to prepare for debate tournaments online and then also compete with each other online. So that's the third option. So other activities. So during COVID-19, it's definitely hard to consistently do an opportunity, do an extracurricular, I would say. But then still, there are so many opportunity on outside that you guys should.
What's wrong? I need water.
What was that? Yeah, great answer. I mean, I would completely agree, and even taking classes, like if you're into business, you can go to Google and you can get your certifications in their programs like Google Analytics, Google Ads, and get advanced certifications. Those last for 3 years, and having those will really help you land a job because those are skills that are directly applicable to the job market. So there's a lot of things online, and yeah, we suggest you do your research. Alex, we can search the school to find out if it is need blind for financial aid or not.
Yes, you can on the school website.
Do ranks matter a lot? Says Anonymous.
I guess the person was asking about school ranks, right?
Yeah.
So it depends on what you're looking for, right? If
Mhm.
you're a humanities major and then you're thinking more about career prospects, and then I would say brand name universities will absolutely give you extra credits when applying for jobs. But if you're, let's say, computer science major again, right? Then learning the solid skills, learning those variety of programming languages, it's going to be more important. So it's really depends on what you're looking for, what you need, what kind of job you're trying to get.
Yeah, a lot of employers aren't going to care, and other ones will care entirely about what school you're from. So it's very individual based. All right, Faith, ask. Any personality or career test you can recommend?
Mhm. Yeah, I would say the most reputable one is the MBTI test, which is gonna run like for about 2 hours or so. But then that's a really good test that everybody can try out for a fee. It's gonna give you a lot of predictions, including areas you can be good at, your personality strengths, and then also give you some predictions about jobs that might fit you. So I would say MBTI is a test I would highly recommend to everyone.
That's MBTI, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So 781 says, I am considering going into biomedical engineering and I am applying right now, but I don't have a lot of activities in my resume. Do you have any recommendations for things to do? This sounds like something one of your program students that you could help really in depth with, right?
Yes, exactly. For this year's applicants, I mean, today is August the 22nd. You still have September, October to build your extracurricular profile for early applications, right? And then you have 2 more months, altogether 4 months to build your profile for regular decision schools. So if you can really, really spare some time, outside of college application, outside of your senior advanced courses, I would say, take an online class, that's relevant to biomedical engineering. So that's for one. And then second, go back to see if there's anything from your previous experiences that you can further build on. So basically starting something new at this point is going to be real hard because time is really limited. You have at most 2 months to apply early deadline to any of the universities, right? So really go back, see if you had anything relevant from the past, and then, take it, level it up. By which I mean, for example, if you have been involved in a biology, club before, right? Probably this year, if your high school still does, allow club activities, try to see if you can get a leadership role in it. Or if you have done some sort of individual, personal project that's relevant to biology before, think about how to get more people to do it. Or if you have, been involved in any, humanitarian, cause in the past, think about how to influence more people to join your cause. So the main point is that you need to figure out how much time you can spare for the activity, and then always go from your resume, revisit your resume to see if there's anything that you can further elevate to the next level instead of starting a new activity from the scratch.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And just one recommendation though, since you did say you don't have a lot of activities in your resume, it's also like it's not necessarily recommended, but it's also entirely possible for you to reach out right now and shadow or contribute to a project that maybe college students are working on, or maybe a doctor or a biomedical engineering firm, right? You can really just be persistent and they will listen. That's probably one of the biggest tips I can give for, reaching your career goals, because that's how you get it, right? You got to persist and they'll listen to you. They'll see your dedication. They'll see how badly you want it and they'll help you, right? Yeah, good luck. All right, any more questions? Is Eric Adonis here? I don't think so, huh? All right, well, thank you so much, Francis, for this great information webinar tonight. I
Thank
hope
you,
that
everyone.
everybody enjoyed it. Oh, wait, we do have a couple questions. Let's see. We have a minute left. Let's do this. Just, um, does economics or applied math major require physics AP in junior year? Does it matter to take it in junior year or senior year if school doesn't offer it in junior year? I mean,
Can you repeat the question, Ryan? I didn't
yeah.
quite get
Well, they're asking if economics or applied math major applicants, are they required to take AP Physics in junior year or senior year, or does it matter which year?
Oh, for econ or math major, AP Physics 1 or C, neither is required. But it depends on you, right? If you feel like, hey, I can really do well in AP Physics 1 or can do AP Physics C, in senior year, that's going to be great. Because honestly speaking, it's not like, everybody is that good at physics. But then neither AP Physics 1 or C is required for both majors.
Yeah, yeah. And, I'd also say you could take a extra supplementary class, even if you're a junior right now, then, you could take a class like one of our AP boot camps and, self-study, and you might just not have to take it at school at all, right? But, all right, Francis, it's 6:51 and we're gonna let you go. If
Great, thank you,
anybody else
Ryan.
wants to stick around, yeah. Thank you, Francis, so much for your presentation. Uh, I hope that you all learned something tonight. And if you have any more questions, or if you'd like to sign up for Francis's 3-stop program, make sure you go visit the links in the chat box from my colleague. Francis only has limited seats each year because, as we've said, each student deserves 100% attention, and it's a lot of research that goes behind each person's roadmap, right? We have a 100% success rate with getting students into their dream schools, which is very impressive, Francis. And so, yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Have a good night. Bye.
Good night. I'll be sticking around just to answer a couple questions, but I'm no expert, all right? If you'd like to schedule a consultation, make sure you visit our website or give us a call, right? Let's see, what else has been asked? Difference between business economics and business administration. So econ, it really focuses more on like the theoretical understanding of business and how the economy works, but business administration, it covers like finance, accounting, information systems, and a lot of different other business categories. So it's a lot more applicable to being in a business setting, I would say. But I'm not the expert here on this. Is there a video for tonight's webinar? Absolutely, it's recorded. And it'll be on our YouTube page. There should be a link in the chat box if you want to subscribe, and you'll see it as soon as it's posted. You can also go ahead and follow our Facebook page, and we also post these there too. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it tonight, Kathy. Let's see. Yeah, you're welcome, Kathy. Thank you, Cindy. If you put down one major as a first choice and another as a second, will that harm my chances of getting in? Ooh, I mean, that's not a question for me. That's a question for Francis. And, I would say it differs, right? Each admissions office is different. You got to go with an expert for this, right? Like, this is what we were talking about before. There's too much research to do out there. And so, getting an expert to help aid you in this process it really makes things a lot more smooth and transparent for you to see your options, right? Like, if you just went to school and you wanted to become a doctor, but you never got to see any other, like, if you wanted to be a doctor but all they gave you was the tools, it's not going to be very successful, right? But instead, doctors, they spend year in residency, they spend a ton of years in school, and it really pays off, but they have experts all along the way to teach them. In the same way, college admissions is a journey for your life, and having an expert to aid you along the way, it goes really far. And the earlier you start that, the more prepared I would say you would be. It's really fortunate that we have programs to help students maximize their potential as they're applying for college. But okay, we're gonna end this webinar now, and you guys can go ahead and check out our links and follow our social medias. It's gonna be more classes, free preview classes, and next week's open class as well. You guys can sign up for that, and yeah, thank you so much for joining us tonight.